back at it. I'm going to outline everything first. So I'm tattooing my oldest son today. So I'm just filling in a sleeve. We started this sleeve 6 years ago, and 2 sessions left on it. So slowly picking away at it since he's been old enough to get a sleeve. I got some outlining and filling in today. He's got a whale and a lighthouse and an eagle, and the last part of it is a whale's tail, but that'll be next session. I've got, since I'm tattooing my oldest son, I'll take this time to give him some financial advice and talk about the stuff that I could have done differently, and what I would do if I was him. Just gotta grab a tattoo machine here. He's all ready to go. Set up this machine. I use this machine because it's a little quieter. Talk over it. Let me restart this video. Okay, perfect. Now we're good to go. So I'm tattooing my oldest son today. And since I'm tattooing my oldest son, I thought I'd take today to give him some advice and just talk about the stuff I messed up when I was his age and what I would have done differently. We're working on his sleeve. He's got 2 sessions left on his sleeve. Today we're doing a little bit of filler between a whale and a lighthouse I tattooed on him. Can't really see it from the angle I'm tattooing today. And then the next time we're doing the whale's tail in a totally separate part, which would be pretty cool. It's kind of like the way a dragon disappears behind clouds and stuff, and waves, and reappears. The whale's tail is going to disappear and reappear in the same way. So that would be pretty cool. We're doing a live stream at the same time. So when I was growing up, my parents, I would say my parents were extremely financially responsible. Felt like they had everything under control and planned for retirement. They're obviously retired now, so I kind of wish I had done the same. And as a tattoo artist, I didn't really have a retirement plan. My old man didn't either. He was a fisherman. So later on, after he was retired from fishing, he went to Alberta and worked for an oil company that allowed him to have a little bit of financial freedom when he was older. I'm 45 now, so now I'm just kind of getting in the mindset of planning for my future, so I don't have to tattoo if I don't want to. So I think the first thing, I remember when I was 19, I came home from Toronto, and I saw in our little town where I grew up in, a house just 2 doors down from my parents for sale. That was waterfront property in Canadian National Park, and the house and land was for sale for $19,000. Now I remember thinking, like, I should buy that. That'll be worth something later on. That was 26 years ago. That land and property now is definitely worth at least $250,000 or more, and that's only because the house was old. The house had been newer and in better shape, it would have been worth way more. But I would say $250,000. So That would have been quite the investment at the time, but I didn't. And looking back now, if I had time, I would 100% have done that. And not only that, but I would have bought more land around Rocky River. But I did end up buying land in Rocky River. That's the town in the middle of the national park. And I bought one piece of land and I bought a house. So now I have a house on the piece of land I bought, so I have two houses in the national park, both waterfront properties. We've got a good value, but not the return like I would have saw if I had actually invested 20, 25 years ago. That really would have been worthwhile. So I definitely regret not investing when I was that age. So that's the first thing I tell them is it's good when you're young to buy stuff you enjoy life, enjoy your youth, but really a smart idea to invest your money. And I worked in Toronto the first couple of years I got out of high school and didn't get ahead financially at all. I was in debt, but I didn't get ahead either. And after that, did a couple courses in college. I did automotive, and it didn't really pay well around Newfoundland, so I only worked a month in automotive after going to school. So that time was, I would say, wasted. I mean, I did gain some real world knowledge, but wasted financially because I went to school and completed the course. The next logical step would have been to start an apprenticeship and become a journeyman mechanic, but I didn't. I spent a month at it, decided that wasn't for me, and I went fishing from there. And back then, fishing didn't pay very much at all. And I bought a souped up Chevy S10. It was a 1987 S10 with a 383 stroker kit in the engine. It was a 69 Chevelle engine and transmission. 383 stroker kit, but basically a show truck. And I used that for my everyday truck. I sold it for enough to pay off the loan that I used to get the truck. But once again, like just a terrible investment. I lost money on it. Bought a bunch of snowmobiles, just a bunch of toys. When you're young, that's the way you look at things. But there was a brief moment where I thought about buying land, and I really should have. And now that I got houses, and I got a commercial property, I'm banking on that. But one thing I did realize is that that's also not the smartest move when it comes to passive investment, because when you got houses, the roof can leak, the plumbing problems, all kinds, and there's all kinds of just regular maintenance, even if nothing do go wrong. So you are steadily investing money. There is the risk because you need to rent the place out and hope that the tenant doesn't destroy the place. You need a good tenant. You need to rent it out for the right amount of money so it pays for itself. How you feeling? Good?
Yeah.
Excellent. On top of that, there is heat and light, property taxes. So I still got to pay property taxes, and I got to have insurance. So these are extra costs, and it's really hard to rent out the place to actually pay for that. Like I was saying earlier, I did buy a piece of land. I put a house on that piece of land. That's the house I'm going to retire in. But really, if you're going to get into real estate, for me, it seems like just straight land is the most passive way, because land doesn't need any maintenance. There's very little taxes. And there's no surprise repairs. You don't have to go out and find a tenant. If you're just taking the money you earn and investing it, you can just buy that and sit on it, because it's going to be worth more later on. You just sell it for more. So that seems to me, I'm no expert, but it seems like that would have been a better investment than actual houses. Also, I've got a commercial property. Got a good tenant in that. It's paying all the bills, so that house, that property's breaking even. And I'm hoping that'll pay off one day. I'll be able to sell it or just continue renting it out to create a passive income, or sell it and just make it so that was a worthwhile investment. So commercial property so far is paying off a little better, cause just because, not because it's a commercial property, just because it's I've got good tenants there and they're doing well there. And they seem to be stable in their business. It's a thrift store in that property. And they're a charity, it's government funding, so it's really the perfect tenant because they don't really need to make a profit or make a living off it. It's part of their charity. And as a landlord, it's great that they're taking care of the place. It's just a thrift store, so there's not much wear and tear on my building, and they're taking care of the heat and light and snow clearing and all that stuff as tenants. So that seems to be a more passive way to invest my money. The houses I got, one of them has a long-term tenant in it. Pretty passive, but also it's costing me money. The rent they're paying doesn't take care of the property taxes or insurance. It just pays the mortgage. So it's not bad because I don't have to do anything. The other property is an Airbnb unit. It's a house. It's a house in which we're going to live in. And that is not passive at all. My wife runs the Airbnb, does the cleaning this year. We had cleaners on staff in previous years, but this year she's doing the cleaning, so it's a lot of work, far from passive. And that property just breaks even, so it does pay for itself, so not without some work. We're just lucky that she's stay-at-home mom who benefits from running that Airbnb, so it works out. Other than that, that would be an issue, especially since we don't live in the area. We're a 90-minute drive away, so it's hard to run that. Really not a sustainable long-term solution. So I mean, it's working out, but I got to make moves later on to make it all work out. I got to sell maybe one of the properties, the property I'm not going to live in, and the commercial property, I just let it play out the way it plays out. If my tenants decide to stay there for 10, 15, 20 years, that's wonderful. If they decide to move out at the end of the lease, I've got to look at selling it or moving back into it myself and tattooing it as that property. My original plan was to run a tattoo shop out of that property. I had the artist who worked for me pay for the property, which gives me a place to tattoo all over and free. I realized I didn't really want to run a shop. Once again, not passive income. Managing tattoo artists, that's running an entire other business. And for me, it interfered with my passion. What I want to do is tattoo. My success has come from having a one-on-one with my clients, where I am just doing one tattoo a day, and my clients get the luxury of just being there with me and me designing with them, and no one's interrupting. I've always got a private studio. So when I started running a tattoo shop, I was in the room with a bunch of other tattoo artists who were doing the same thing. They were doing walk-ins, so we were open to the public. I wasn't used to that, and I didn't really like it. So that's why I found that tenant to take over my entire building, and I could close down my tattoo shop. I just didn't want to do it, so it worked out. I breathed a sigh of relief when I found that tenant. So I made a lot of moves just trying to make up for lost time because, as I was saying in a previous podcast, I spent my entire 30s just tattooing on the road, which wasn't the most profitable thing to do. It advanced my career and made it wasn't the wrong move because it also gave me reputation, which led to my success. I got to do competitions and network and gain experience from world-renowned artists. It was a positive thing, but I mean, tattooing on the road just paid the bills. It didn't allow me for the extra income to invest. And I'm coming to realize what passive income really is. You got to be careful with what you invest your time and money into, because what you think is manageable or passive might not be manageable or passive. It might end up being extra work, which messes with your real income. For me, tattooing is my real income. And now I have Airbnb and multiple properties. Everything is manageable, but I could have made different moves. So what I think I would have done if I had my time back, I still would have traveled. I still would have went on the road and did all that because I've made me the tattoo artist I am now. But I also think I would have made sure I put aside money every single month. And I'm only learning now the difference in the ups and downs of RRSPs versus TFSA, a tax-free savings account. And I mean, that only pertains to here in Canada. I can't speak for if you're listening from another country, but it seems to me, and I don't really know a lot about it, I'm only learning myself, it seems to me that a tax-free savings account is the way to go, because the interest you gain, that's a very low or no risk investment, but like low return too. You're not getting these huge returns, but there's no risk. You're not risking losing money. But the interest you gain, high interest, there's no taxes. So when you take it out, you're not paying any taxes. Because you already paid taxes on that money. It's income. You're investing your income. You already paid income tax. You don't want to pay income tax a second time. So TFSA seems to be the way to go. I'm no expert, that's for sure, but it's really seems like RRSP, you're going to gain a return, but you're going to pay taxes twice. And if anyone out there knows more about this, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a retirement plan like an RRSP, you're investing money you pay taxes on, and then you got to go and you're going to end up paying taxes again when you take it out during retirement. So it's not the best move. So I think if I had my time back, I would have passively invested in a TFSA, just putting money away. I've been tattooing almost 20 years. That would have added up by now. Not only that, I would have also bought land and not houses or buildings where the risk is involved in the maintenance, the risk of things going wrong, maintenance, all that was something else. I bought a souped up truck. That wasn't the smartest move. But also, I don't think brand new trucks are the smartest move either. So, like right now, you get a truck off the lot, it's a couple years old, you're paying still a lot of money, but it's doable. Brand new trucks now in 2026, you're paying $100,000 Canadian or more, even more. And we all know, it's common knowledge, as soon as you buy a vehicle, as soon as it goes off the lot, you're losing the value of that vehicle. So it's definitely not a smart move at all. So I never ever owned a brand new vehicle, and I don't regret that. I don't think that would have ever been a smart move. So no regrets there. I bought a lot of snowmobiles over the years. Also not the best move. They lose value and don't have a practical use. Not the best move, but I don't think I regret that. I had a lot of good times, and the snowmobile community's been great. A lot of friendships and that, and me and my oldest son, that's how we spend time together these days, and that's our quality time. So you got to live life too. You can't just worry about the future and not live life in the moment. But snowmobiling's been my way of living life in the moment. Here in the on the west coast of Newfoundland, and in the national park where we're from, snowmobiling's big, and it's unique because being residents in the park, we have special snowmobile races. We can go in the mountains and snowmobile. It's a great time. So I kind of feel good about some stuff I did. I never bought a brand new truck, so I never had the burden of that. It's not only the payments on a new truck. It's a $100,000 truck. I mean, there's houses around here you can buy for $100,000, and land is rarely more than $100,000 around here. So it's not only the payments, which could be $1,000 a month. I was talking to someone yesterday. He said he was paying $1,000 a month Canadian for his new truck. It's the fact that you finance that truck, so now the bank wants you to get premium insurance. They want you to get full coverage insurance. So, I mean, I'm paying, I don't know, like $50 a month insurance because I have an old truck. I've got no payments on that truck, and it starts every day and gets me to work every single day. So not only is that truck reliable, I'm debt-free when it comes to a vehicle, and I only got to pay like $50 a month. I know some people are paying like $500 a month for insurance because they got to get top insurance. So now you've got this $1,200 to $1,500 burden in a new truck if you're buying it brand new. And it's so easy when you go in a dealership. It's something about going into a dealership. You can really change your mindset, and all of a sudden you find yourself signing the dotted line on something you don't really need. I have done that with snowmobiles more than once. So, I mean, if you want to summarize what I would do differently, I would have tattooed just like I have. I wouldn't have changed a thing there. I would have maybe purchased the building I was going to tattoo it in long term. I did tattoo in St. John's, Newfoundland for 10 years. If I bought a building to tattoo it in the beginning, I would have moved out of St. John's. I could have sold that building. That would have been a great move. I would have bought land instead of houses and buildings. Definitely more passive. Passive is suitable for me. I don't have the time to be keeping up on stuff. And I would have put a set amount in the TFSA right from the beginning. At 45 now, I would have been set up a lot better than what I am currently. I'm not doing bad. Everything is stable. But when you look back when you're 45 years old and you look back, I don't think there's one person out there who can say they would have done everything exactly the same. There's always ways you can improve stuff. So I hope you're listening to all this advice. Because you're young, you're 21 years old. You can definitely change the trajectory now. Now's the time. You could end up my age and saying, well, I don't have to work if I don't want to.
Yeah.
45 is still young. You got a lot of life to enjoy at that age. You can really sit back there and do what you want to do in life. I'll be 55 before I can say that. And your youngest brother is only not even 3 years old yet, so I'll still be a dad. I'm a dad till I'm 60. I'll be 60 when he turns 18, so there's also that. But that's a whole different story, that is. I'll certainly be, I'll be hustling till I'm 60. At 55, if I make the right moves now, at 45, I'll be able to be a lot better off. But I'll still be a dad. Is it hurting today?
No.
No? Not bad, eh?
No.
Awesome. When COVID came along, that really made a difference too. Tattooing, it felt like before COVID, tattooing was just this endless thing that was just never going to change. It was as stable as it gets. And I got to say, there's a lot of people out there that got ruined during COVID. And we were lucky in Newfoundland. The government handled it a lot better than other places, but COVID really changed stuff too. There was a 3-month period where I wasn't making any money on tattooing. So it would have been nice to have a little bit of money invested by COVID, so I didn't have to worry as much. But I know tattoo artists in other provinces in Canada that they're just gone out of business because their government didn't manage stuff as well and didn't allow businesses to stay open. In Newfoundland, we were pretty innovative. We really kept the economy going. I can't imagine running a restaurant or anything like that. And that's another thing. I'm lucky I never invested in any other side businesses over the years. I just had my faith in tattooing. And that was actually definitely a smart move. Because I could have easily been tempted to invest in other businesses, and that could have easily messed things up for me. But reality definitely kicks in when you're in your 40s and you realize, well, geez, there's no retirement plan for tattooing. I'm just going to tattoo and keep tattooing and not stop. You really start thinking of this stuff. Geez, could I have done it different? But there you have it. Now at 45, I've still got time. All this advice I've been giving my son. I'm talking about it on this podcast. I just follow that advice myself now. And make sure I change the trajectory and I'm in a more comfortable place 10 years from now. It's not something you can change overnight. It's a long game that you really got to make a plan for it, and most of all, stay consistent. If you're going to put away a bit of money every month, you got to be consistent, not changing the plan. Stick to it. That's really, you can say that with anything, like diets or, careers. Staying consistent and sticking to your plan is important. see things going with Tinder. I'm twisting the arm back here now. I might have to change position.
Yep.
So I end this video and see if I can change position for you now.